In this video, we're asked to take an equation in point-slope form and rewrite it in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form looks like y equals the slope m times x plus or minus the y-intercept. Now you can see that we're given 2 points. That means we're left to find the slope on our own. The easiest way to do that is to create a table. Okay, let's go ahead and create the table of x and y values. Looks like our first point is a -4 and a -1. And the second point is a -2 and 2. Now we need to see how the y's change. We start at a -1 and we go to 2, so the y's go up by 3. Now we look at how the x's are changing. The x's are changing by a +2. Now from there we want to write the slope, and it's how the y's change divided by how the x's change. That will give us a fraction slope of 3/2. Now we'll go ahead and use our point slope formula, y minus y1, which will change the sign of the 1, so we get y plus 1. We put in our slope 3/2 and we have x plus 4. Remember, we changed the sign of the -4 to a +4. Now we're asked to put it in slope-intercept form. I take the 3/2, I times it by x, so I get 3/2 x. I take the 3/2, I times it to 4. 3 times 4 is 12, so it'll be 12 divided by 2. Now the next step, I have y plus 1 equals 3/2 x, and we know that 12 divided by 2 is 6. Now to put it in slope-intercept form, I have to get the y by itself on the left-hand side. That means I will subtract 1 from each side, and I end up getting y equals 3/2 x, and then 6 minus 1 will give me a 5. So y equals mx plus b. You can see that it is in slope-intercept form. The y-intercept is 5 and the slope is 3/2. That is our answer. Let's go ahead and do number 10 now. It's the same type of problem. We'll have to find our slope first. We'll go ahead and create a table. So remember, our slope is the y's over the x's. The first point is a -1, -2. The second point is a -5 and 4. Let's find our change in y's first. Looks like a -2 to 4, they go up by 6, +6. And then if I look at a -1 to a -5, the y's change by a -4. The slope will be a +6 over a -4, which will simplify to a -3/2. 2 divides the 6, 2 divides the 4, and the negative stays with the numerator. We'll go ahead and write our point slope formula now. And remember, I always use the first ordered pair. The y1 is a negative 2, so it will change to a positive 2 when I put it in. So I'll have y plus 2 equals, the slope is a negative 3 over 2. And then I have x. The x is a negative 1, so it'll become a positive 1. Now I need to put it into slope-intercept form. Has to be in that pattern, y equals mx plus b. That leads me to distribute the negative 3 halves into the x and into the parentheses. So I have a negative 3 halves x. And then a negative 3 halves times 1 will give me a negative 3 halves. Now I will subtract 2 from each side to get the y by itself. 2 subtract a negative 2 will give me 0. And then a negative 3 halves x. Now I'm going to use a calculator to figure out this next part, and if you plug it in by using the calculator, you get a negative 3.5, and the fraction form of the decimal negative 3.5 is a negative 7 halves. Either one of those answers are correct. So thank you for watching and have a good evening.